it's our fundraiser to support the kids going on the mission trip to Guatemala, and it's selling Christmas trees.
I've personally been doing it for about 35 years. I started as a teenager in the youth group, and we used to sell Christmas trees, and we would go on a ski trip up to Sunday River. But it's developed over the years to become more of a mission, and to use the funds that we raise here selling the trees to pay for the mission to go help those that really need help. It takes a lot of prep and planning and a lot of money that we have to put up front. These trees come from Nova Scotia. They're balsams from Nova Scotia. There's a container truck over here that is filled with thousands of trees that are planned way ahead of time to be brought down here, and then we have to set up this entire display and showcase the trees, refill them through the weeks that we sell this. It runs from after Thanksgiving up until we sell out, really. It looks pretty good right now. We'll probably only have about a week left doing this, and the hours are generally noon to about 7 or 8 o'clock at night every day of the week, but the busiest times are during the weekends, like today.
And it's a good workout, it's a lot of fun, but the trees have to come off the trailer, and they need to be counted, and then they're stored in the trailer that we have here. And as we sell trees, we pull more out. As a parent, we encourage actually the kids to interact with the customers. So if family comes in and we have a work group or one of the students go and greet them and talk to them about the different pricing here with the different trees we have, and maybe help them look at trees and make a choice, and then carry the tree to get it cut, a fresh cut, and then onto the car. So it's fun though. The kids, they have a good time. It's fun for the adults as well. You meet a lot of nice people. Everyone's in a good mood when they're selling Christmas trees and when they're buying Christmas trees. But in the past, we have had students that are even living in other towns that will go on the trip, because you know, friends will want to come along. So really the only requirement is that they're in high school and they're willing to sell trees. And the trees come in various heights. So we have, the smallest ones are 4 to 6, and then we have 6 to 8, and then even taller than that. We also sell some wreaths.
Mark Minister, he's an integral part of this whole operation, has been for years. He helps with ordering the trees, getting them delivered, setting up the racks, and just constantly helping everybody replace the trees and get things moving. Of course, our pastors, Peter and Sarah, help just recruit everybody to come down here and sell the trees and make the money for the trip. And of course, the kids themselves are really an integral part. They're required, if they're going on the trip, to do a certain number of sales hours, and they do it, and they do it really well, and they do it above and beyond the call of duty, in the freezing cold weather, in the rain, in the snow.
Sure, I'm still learning the history as I get to know people in the church, but I found out the other night that they've been selling trees for more than 40 years, well before we started doing these mission trips, and the youth group used to donate the money to specific charities back in those days. But then when the trips began and the kids were actually traveling to different locations to serve impoverished people and also learn and grow spiritually, they decided to use the proceeds of the tree lot to help pay for the trip. In the big picture, it's really about making sure that our kids here in Hingham, and specifically our church, but also lots of friends come along, it's not just Hingham Congregational Church kids, to make sure that they have an opportunity to look beyond Hingham, and not just on their vacations, but also to look at poverty in the face and see their neighbors and how they're living around the country. And this year we're going to Guatemala, so our first international trip. And the general idea, beyond just getting the kids out of the Hingham bubble, is to help them to make connections between their spiritual lives and the rest of the world and the people who they will encounter on these trips. How is their religious faith and their spirituality connected with the way we interact with strangers and with people who live very different lives from the way we live.
The kids will be going in the end of June. So after school comes to an end and they're flying this year, they're going to Guatemala, and it's going to be up into the higher elevations. And I understand it's beautiful there.
We're going to be working on homes, schools, churches, things that are in disrepair, that need repair in order to be usable.
Most of them in the smaller villages cook over open fire in the house, and this causes lung and eye problems for the families of the kids and the adults. And so there's a project that the sponsoring agency there in Guatemala that we're working with, a stove project. And so one of the projects we'll be doing is installing stoves. They're clay stoves, and they burn wood. And it's a forested, high elevation area, so there's plenty of wood. But the stoves not only cut down on the smoke and the problems with health problems, that also it requires less wood, so it helps them economically as well. It helps them be able to use their time doing other things.
It's very eye-opening, I think, for a lot of the students from Hingham. This is the first trip that's international, but in the past they've gone more locally, but that's Ohio or New Jersey, and it's lower income communities, and just a great experience. It's a lot of fun to meet the residents and help them, and you really feel like you're making a difference.
Often it helps people put their priorities in order. When you encounter poverty and people in poverty, it helps you remember what your own blessings are, and what you used to think was a problem becomes a nothing. So it helps us put our priorities in order about what's a true problem or an opportunity in life and really what isn't. Our church, it's a Christian church. As its theology is probably more progressive than the other churches in town, but we're a Christian church, and one of the things that we believe in is serving others. And we think that this tree lot, the money that's raised, and the trips that we go on help us to live out that goal of serving our neighbors in the world.
I think it's, just it's a great annual tradition for a lot of families. You can tell when a whole family comes, and sometimes it's young kids and you're right there at the beginning of this tradition, and sometimes it's families with teenagers, and this is just something that they've been looking forward to every year. So it's just really fun to be a part of that because everyone's in a good mood.
My favorite thing is just the camaraderie of the people and the kids, and putting smiles on the faces of the people that are buying the trees, because it's a very exciting thing for families. The kids come down here, they're always excited to get a candy cane, but more importantly, pick the perfect tree for their home and for their Christmas.
Well, I think when you have teenagers who are spiritually strong and growing, I think that benefits their families and their peers and the whole town. I think one of the things, when I talk about this kind of a trip, I always like to use the word community. We're not just going on a trip, we're building community. So when people come back and they say, "Where are you going this year?" And I'm so happy that you're selling trees again this year. We always come to get our tree at this lot because we believe in what you're doing. That just feels great. It feels like it's something that we're not just doing for ourselves, but the community can have a good feeling, a warm feeling about it as well, because they're buying their tree from us.